I'm going to do a quickie with a guest, not alone. Today is, I want to do a shout out birthday to young Thaddeus Toole, uh, who's turning a youthful 38. Um, I've known him since he was an energetic youngster of just a few years ago. Going to do a quick shout out to him, get him on here and talk a couple minutes, but he's got to get into work because Thad keeps the lights on. Hey, Thaddeus.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mark. I'll tell you what. 12/16 in 1982 at Bryn Mawr Hospital, Rebecca Myers Toole gave birth to what you have before you. Too bad for her, right? But I don't think too many people get a live shout out on a show on their birthday, so we can notch 38 down as a special one there.
There you go. You're heading up on 40 because as soon as you get 40, you start paying men to do things to you that you would not let them do for free. It becomes they remove your dignity by 41.
I don't have too much left, honestly. I don't have too many reservations. It starts chipping away, the back, the knees, the hairline, and then you get apparatus. Kind of tacked on. You get thicker glasses. You decide you need to start wearing a watch. You have a night guard because you grind your teeth, and then you had oral surgery. You have ringing in your ears that doesn't go away from years of loud, intrusive sounds. Just part of the wearing out process, I suppose. But then you have offspring to carry on. It's Theodore Thaddeus Toole V. It's his job now. I tried, I failed. You take the reins, buddy.
Wait, he's the fifth?
Hell yeah, he's the fifth.
Absolutely. I thought you were the third.
Everyone thinks that. I'm not quite sure why. No, I am the fourth. My dad is the third, and he is the fifth.
I thought you were the third.
Yeah.
I think the third is cooler to say.
It is cool. What it is, it's 5 T's in a row. Theodore Thaddeus Toole the third.
Right. Awesome. It's all the T's.
At every single one of them, none left. But yeah, my wife and I knew that if I was going to have a first, and they're all firstborn sons too, 5 in a row. So it's very intense. And I told my wife, I said, listen, we don't have a choice here. I don't have a choice here. This is larger than me. We have a girl, you name her Sunshine Rainbow, I don't care. But we have a boy, it's Theodore Thaddeus Toole V, and that's all she wrote. That's it. So she said, okay, fine. But I want the nickname part. And I don't want it to be Thad. Because my dad goes by Thad. That's a nightmare. Your mail's different. Your mail comes the same. People call, you don't know. So she settled on Theo. I really like Theo. It grew on me. At first I was like, it ends in a vowel. I don't know. But I really like it. And so far, so good.
Well, yeah, Theo can either go, it can either be like really learned or it can be wacky. So, it's up in the air.
Well, the only Theo I know is Theo Huxtable.
Right.
And I don't know if you do this, but I do like a name association thing.
Yeah.
Theo Huxtable equals Bill Cosby equals rapist. that's where it goes, man. And like with girl names, I associate with women I've dated or a mean teacher, Mrs. Marcy Kessler from 3rd grade. So it's very hard to get a name that I can not do that with.
Well, I'm big on names. I don't believe that names have the power to. The name isn't the definition, but I think society makes you into your name because of its expectations of your name.
And people make the name too. Like The Doors is a terrible band name, but The Doors being a great name, or a great band, made the name. So now you don't think about it.
Right. But it's like you're never going to have like, President Britney. It just won't happen. The name dooms it,
Right. Or it's like those memes you see of like a middle-aged soccer mom, like a Karen. Like Karens are ruined. I know plenty of nice Karens, but it's like Karen's over now.
The name has been ruined for many reasons.
Right.
It's amazing, but yeah, and you have such a long name lineage that you actually just can't break the tradition, because if you do, then demons will be released because of the curse of what you're, if you break, something will happen if you break 5 names.
And it's very important to me. Oddly enough, it was not important to my parents. They were floating around a bunch of different things. One of which I was shocked to learn this just the other day. My mom told me this. She's like, yeah, we weren't so sure about the whole succession thing. It was getting a little odd. I'm like, it's awesome. She's like, yeah, I was thinking Peter Richard Toole. Process that. Peter Richard. That's 3 phallic references in one name.
Right.
I can't handle that.
Yeah.
And it didn't even, I don't know, 30, 37, 8 years later, she had no idea. Like, that can't happen. Yeah. But, live by the sword, die by the sword.
No,
my name's all I got. People read it and they're like, wow, that's a fantastic name. Sets the bar here. And it's just.
Well, it's all set up for monogram. I don't understand why you don't have monograms on everything.
Well, actually. So that was Theodore Thaddeus Toole II's box right there.
Oh.
I don't polish it on purpose. There are numerous other things around here as well, but yeah.
The
3 T's. It's very easy to monogram and to do the initials. Just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, right across there. It's always felt like, when we were hanging out, I had such a common name, and it was, it was all felt very commoner compared to the long lineage of the Toole line.
Yeah, but you got your MGH brands going on,
Yeah, but it's if I got to think for the sense of marketing, the Triple T is the way to go. The Triple T.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I guess your son has already got his marching orders. That.
Speaking of marching, he walked for the first time yesterday.
No.
It was wild. I'm sitting on the couch, and I can tell he's been trying. He's been kind of figuring it out. It's amazing watching these little babies progress through these stages because you see them so much, and it's like human development compressed. So you really get a handle on watching these people develop. So he's in front of me, and he's holding on to my knee, and he's giving me this like look, and then his expression turns into like are you ready for this? And he like leans back from me, then he lets his hand go, and he's wobbling back and forth. But then he leans forward and bends his knees, and he gets this like kind of bounce going. And then he looks at me, he's like, "Here we go, 1, 2, 3, boom!" And he slams the ground. But there it was, So I called my mom, Rebecca Toole, and I guess what happened? She lives right down the street. And she came running up, tears streaming down her face, and we did the whole his first steps thing, So it's nice.
I'm surprised she didn't have a GoPro on him or something.
That would be really interesting. Somebody should do that. I'm sure there's some. There's a video for everything now, but just on a baby's head, just midday, like what he's looking at, what he's doing, running. It's crazy. This kid he exists in a living room, yet he's constantly on it, right? He's constantly on the move. Never stops. Never, ever, ever stops.
I don't see the difference right now. I mean, he exists in a small room. Drooling is a major issue. Going to the bathroom and eating are his primary functions during the day. I think he's like the rest of the world at this point, Well,
it's interesting because his world didn't change whatsoever. Yeah, he doesn't go to daycare. He gets shuffled between here and between his grandparents' house for daycare. So he's just been doing the same thing. He has no clue what's going on. The only benefit is he's actually seen me way more than he would because I'm here.
Right.
So that's a blessing. I think you hear a lot of people with COVID say that the inadvertent, though a pain in the ass, a byproduct of having to stay home is more time with the kids. And then they want to kill themselves at 2 in the afternoon. But,
I've seen more people actually out interacting and raising their children than I had in the past. And that's a great thing. And I think, but the problem, like you said, the problem is that kids and pets are getting spoiled because when it ends, the animals aren't going to, oh, you're not here. Where you been all day? And the kids are going to be like, they didn't see it. So take advantage of it while you got it. The what are you cruising around in? What's the Tool mobile now? Are you Subaru man? You following the tradition?
Yep, I am 2017 Subaru Impreza sedan. It's a good vehicle, man. It's no 2003 Ford Ranger, but it's all-wheel drive. It gets it done. It gets it done. My wife has an Outback, so we are certainly a Subaru household. But what I need to get is one of those rocket boxes for the top. One of those like Toole or Yakima rocket boxes that holds all the stuff.
You got to get something to jazz it up, man. Some Fire Stripes or something. You're dying in that ride. You're dying in that ride.
I'll tell you what, though, man. It's peppier than I thought it would be. You can switch it from automatic into the paddle shifting, which I love because I like driving stick, but whatever. I like being able to drop a gear and get past somebody. I like the option to paddle shift and then throw it back and be lazy.
Subarus are great until they break. When they break, they're so expensive to fix. I got a buddy who he had the children. He got the government issued Subarus and everything, and he did the same thing. It's the exact same thing. He's got that shirt actually. It comes as a package, and but it had something that would have been a relatively inexpensive repair on other brands, but because of the way the engines were, it was much more. So you have to take the engine out of a Subaru to do a lot of work on it. But there's I came across a picture the other day of the old Tool wagon, and I said the guy was he had his routine. He liked his truck. He didn't want to change. He had his tuna fish. He had his routine.
Yeah, that's right.
It was tuna fish. He had his truck, and that truck. It had character. It had character.
That truck lived a good life. And in regards to age, one of your favorite expressions, it's not the year. It's not the year model. It's the experience. It's the mileage rather. It's not the year. It's the mileage. Yeah, that truck. It was the first vehicle I bought new, 2003. So there was that whole indoctrination into maturity. I'm signing these papers. This is my truck. And then I only thought I'd have it for a few years, but life happens, circumstance. And, 13 years later, I'm driving this thing and it's got a wealth of experience and things that I grew up and matured in this vehicle. So every little mark, every little ding, everything, was me. I did it all. And also mechanically, I'm a somewhat mechanically inclined person, but I did so many repairs on it from not being able to afford repairs for a long time that I knew what was wrong. Like 5 years later, something would come around and I'd be like, well, I put Teflon tape on that the last time, so let's just try it again.
You had to I don't know if you've ever seen the episode of Always Sunny where Dennis sells his truck.
I have not.
But it was very much like I would imagine you with that under different circumstances where the guy bought it. People were coming to buy and he says, yeah, I'd like to get this for my truck. Yeah, I like it. He's talking to us like, I like you. You're a good American. I think you might be worthy. He said, well, I'm getting it for my daughter. He's like, your daughter? A child? This carrying for a child? Be gone! Go away from me! Be gone!
Yeah. You know how it actually ended? I made one repair, and then I said, okay, the next repair, it's over. It's finished. And sure enough, it was out front of my house, and I saw that it was leaking. And it wasn't oil. It was either transmission fluid, or I just said, okay, that's that. So I actually called Purple Heart, because they'll give you a good, generous tax write-off. And I watched him tow away, and I cried. No joke. I let him flow, because there she went, off into the unknown. But, it's like anything.
Yeah. I mean, that truck's got a lot of history. That truck's got a lot of history in it. On that episode of Always Sunny, they were late for something. They had to get out, and there was there was water, and Dennis said, "This is an amphibious vehicle. It's designed to go off road. We could do it." And then it just started off with the truck is in the river, and like, God damn it! And yeah, but it was.
You get confident, and once you drive a truck, you feel like an imposter in anything else. I don't know why. But
Well, that one ended with him. He got a car and he just didn't feel right in the car. And he ended up meeting this guy, and the guy had the identical Land Rover in his garage that he was selling. He was like, I'll take it no matter what the price. As is.
yeah.
And you get comfortable, there's that comfortable, like you'll never have the relationship with the Subaru that you have with the truck. It's impossible.
Well, yeah, because now I'm not doing any. I'm a slave to routine, and the Subaru and I don't do anything together. the truck and I, we camped out. We passed out in the bed in the Florida Keys. We drove to New Orleans and back on 4 hours of sleep. We went through the Shenandoah Mountains in West Virginia and got stuck on a windy, snowy road and had to use sandbags to dig ourselves out for 4 hours. We did a lot together. And the Subaru and I, we are just, we're work buddies. We're not friends.
Right. It's Star Trek Next Generation versus original series or something. Right. Much more casual.
I got Data out there. He's got nothing to say.
Yeah, and you don't have the energy anyway. I mean, you can't go. I mean, think about now. When you were younger, if somebody could get together gas money and get a car, everybody would grab a couple of burritos, go to the shore. Now,
oh, dude, you drive from Philly to Miami on nothing but enthusiasm, and now, like, I can't eat the drives. I used to, in another life, I'd be a long haul trucker. I started college in South Florida, and I used to drive from Philly to South Beach on no sleep. That's about 24 hours driving straight. Volkswagen Jetta at the time, but driving straight. It was pure insanity. At 19, you can just do that stuff. I would get out of the car like a little woozy, maybe go see some friends, and then go to sleep. Now I would die by Virginia. Die, like not like metaphorically die. Like I would perish, hit the wheel, and drive off into Richmond somewhere. It's over. And it's almost scary to I don't know what happens. You just wear yourself out. You just do. And now, like, exercise it's just maintenance to keep the thing going. It's like Teflon tape on the truck.
Yeah, you just patch your stuff together. You don't have the energy. I think about every time I watch Always Sunny, I go, we did that. We lived that at work for years. We had that energy that was going on. I can't even imagine that energy now. Do you ever watch Always Sunny? Have you ever seen it and related it to when we worked together?
Yes, I have, because I've been on your recommendation. And, it's amazing that show has had the longevity it's had. It's partly because there's no timeline. It's like a cartoon, like The Simpsons. And it's just, I think it resonates with people. It absolutely does, especially from our area. I mean, there's not too many. There's more stuff in Philadelphia than there used to be. More things based in Philadelphia, more movies. But for a very long time, especially when Always Sunny started, it was like a badge of honor that it was actually in Philadelphia. So it's good.
I tell the story about, the one time you're going out to look at a property, and I was going, and I got there, and I said, Dad, where are you guys at? And you said, we're gone. And I said, what do you? I'm on time. I'm not late. I said, we're leaving early. I said, look, you've been running point on too many of these things. I'm supposed to be doing this. You've been kind of overshadowing me. I got it. You stay back, hang back with it. And you and Nancy went out, and then there was the whole cave thing, cutting her hair off. It just turned into this whole situation. She came back with less hair. Do you remember that?
Of course I remember that. And these are the situations, the professional situations that I took on earlier in my life. Invaluable experience, honestly.
How do you classify that? I mean, the cult leader that tried to buy you.
Right. Which the context, out of context, that sounds bizarre. It's more bizarre if you have the context, which isn't usually the case.
Yeah.
But that experience and taking some contracts early on, floating around from maybe this state from an odd job to that state to an odd job. I think those things shape people in in great ways. My wife and I had a conversation the other day, and it was like, I'm now 38. She's 36. We've been together 4 years. We know other people who got together maybe in their early 20s. And the couples who got together in their early 20s, it seems that they have a one brain kind of mentality through no fault of their own, but they've matured through as this couple, and they make decisions. They go left, they go right. They think the same because they've come up together. Her and I, we live two lives, and we live them completely different. So now when we come together, we butt heads a lot. We're very individual people with individual mindsets, but we often reach a better decision because we are coming from two different places. And if we can work through the problem and not kill each other, we have a better resolution.
But you're two individuals that try and mesh occasionally to be one, and that's a lot easier than two people that are acting as one that are pulling apart to be individuals. And that's what happens when you get together for a long time when you're younger. At one point, somebody's just going to break apart and go, I can't take this anymore. Whereas as your individuals, you both, as I recall, she was your love from years ago. Time passed in between. You got back together. It was all fairy tale.
In a way, yeah, close. We went to high school together, and she was a grade below me, but we had a class together, and then we ate lunch together my senior year, her sophomore year, I think. And I had a crush on her, and I was too scared to approach her. I don't really know why. I didn't have a lot of trepidation back then, or perhaps I should have, but I couldn't, for whatever reason, ask her out or do anything about it. Well, I went off to college. She did her thing. 15 years later, she gets a hold of me and sends me a message. I ask her out on a date, and there you go. So we have an odd history. Our relationship has a lineage, but we didn't have any communication of any type for a long time.
But that's great because you sowed your oats. You got everything out of your system. You just want to settle down and be adults rather than being adults too soon and then getting it out of your system and bringing the law and the church into splitting resources and stuff. You guys, you've got plaid on. You're driving a Subaru. You probably know where all the bathrooms are between your house and work.
I'm playing the part. I'm playing the part for sure. But I just hope for her sake, and I'll never know. I mean, she bought the stock high and it plummeted. And I think she might have been thinking back to the high school kid she knew, and kind of was investing in that. And now she has what she has. But
yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Well, if you've got a guy who is the fourth of anything, you've got to expect there's going to be some rigid habit and consistency implied in that relationship. I mean, there's generations of tradition. And might I comment that I don't know if it's the light, but have you been doing exercises because you've got the neck of a European lumberjack?
Now, what it is, it's the angle of this camera. The camera on this laptop is down here. I don't know why, but yeah, it's not. It's still gawky and straight.
It's from the ankle though. It looks like you've been exercising your butt off there. And getting that. No,
I'm doing my best in quarantine, like everybody, trying to do something. You realize it's weird when you're sitting around and you're focused. Maybe you're into some work or something. You're hunched over the keyboard, you're really into it. But the amount of sitting around and doing seemingly nothing. Maybe you got a book in your hand or something. Is outrageous. I mean, I try to get outside. We push the stroller. I go down and play basketball court near my house. So you try to do things, go for a run maybe, but it's exhausting being lazy. It's really hard.
Well, I don't you're talking about the and feeling like a lot of people do, feeling a little bit of shame at being not happy with the situation because realizing that your quarantine isn't hell, even though it feels hellish and people have it a lot worse, but we're all kind of in this same weird boat. And I really feel for the uber wealthy. And the reason I say that is because they theoretically can't have their cleaning staff in their house. They don't know how to operate a damn thing in the house. They know how to
Good
work the
point.
microwave.
Right, right.
So they probably just have like piles of clothes, I figure, and they order new ones from Amazon instead of washing them. And there's going to be a lot of like rich McMansions that look like hobo camps when this is over. It's going to be bad. But now your wife is a nurse, but she's not a nurse. She does hearing things, linguistics.
She used to work. Last time we spoke, she worked in an allergy and immunology office. However, now she works at a hospital on a telemetry floor, and so she's since been transferred right into working on a COVID unit about every other shift. So she's right in it. She was there last night. She works third shift, so she's asleep now, probably being woken up by my stupid cackle.
Yeah.
But she's right in the thick of it, man. And it really puts into perspective when you see somebody doing that. Like, maybe my job isn't. Maybe I shouldn't complain so much about what I do, because she's going to town every day.
Well, it's funny because the things that were important, the nobody in the midst of this have called to lawyers or bankers or captains of industry for support. It's the guy who stocks the shelves.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that great?
Yeah, I mean, it's like all that stuff is a construct. The whole legal stuff, all that's a construct made by intelligent people who are basically, in a way, scamming us and creating a need that we have to buy their widgets or whatever, But we see what we need now. Nobody wants oil. It's dropped in price. Ironically, when we have to drive less, people want toilet paper.
Sure.
It's become an odd world, and it's just amazing how it's changed. And your child's going to grow up in a different world than you did. It's always a different world, but I don't know how this is going to change. I mean, you know me, I'm all for social distancing. I'm a pioneer. I got no problem with it.
Sure.
I thought the other day about the social distancing, and then I had this weird thought about when we were back at the Bridge Foundation, social distancing and a meeting in your old office, and combining the two. How would that be possible?
So my office was 8 by 8, and oddly enough, I do like small spaces like that. And you had the better office, no question. But I like tiny, like confined spots like that. Like this room here it's a larger room, but it's packed to the gills with stuff. Not hoarder style. I mean, everything has its own place, but like I like the kind of feeling of a lot of things around. My wife's completely opposite. The rest of the house is minimalist to a degree. It's crazy. But
well, you tell your wife that nobody ever came to a minimalist in a crisis. Because minimalists go to other people, and
right.
you're running like that's a young man's room there. It's a young man's office. It's like you got a little TGI Friday thing going up. Like, let's put my stuff on the wall, and that works.
Yeah, like the skis just nailed to the wall there.
Nailed to the wall.
There comes a time, you had said it one time, you're like, you're going to get to an age where you just stop wearing t-shirts with slogans on. And you also come to an age where all your pictures need to be in frames. Like there's no more thumbtacks. So I have some ridiculous pictures, but they are all framed. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and framing just ups the classiness of it. But it's amazing how women tend to be minimalists, and guys just want to. They want to have a little museum to their life around them, a little bit of history and everything.
Yeah, and and everything in this room speaks to an era of my life. And completely subliminally, I put this together, but it speaks to an era of my life or an interest that I have or had at one time. It's I love this room. Oddly enough, I'm good at that. I'm good at like interior decorating. But with the COVID thing, I do got to run. But I really do hope that people like you and me understand how good we have it, right? Like I'm sitting here under some stresses, okay? Because my job is stressful. My job that I have still is stressful. The roof that I have, the air conditioning's a little cold. Oh gosh, I have to sit inside. I have it really good. That doesn't mean I'm without my own plights and struggles. But if I lose sight of how good I have it, we're in trouble. And you watch the news and you see these stories of, well, little Johnny's lacrosse season got canceled and he couldn't set the prep school record. It's like, I get it. I do. But let's get a little bit of perspective here. There are some people out there really hurting, really struggling, and let's see how good you have it. Little Johnny's probably going home to a roof is what I'm getting at there. So,
no, there you go. That's a good ending. You got to go to work because the lights got to. They're not going to light themselves. Keep America strong. Happy 38th.
Hey, thanks.
Don't break a hip, and we'll talk to you soon. Be safe.
Hey, we'll do that. Thanks again, Mark, and keep on keeping on, man.
Take care, Thad.